Welcome back to New Jersey Power and Politics. I'm Luke Margolis. Governor Christie touts New Jersey as an example of bipartisanship at work. Maybe not so much as the summer drags on. Our next two guests will bring a little bipartisanship to this debate. Jay Lassiter is a liberal blogger with BlueJersey.com, and Brian McGovern is the managing editor of the conservative blog Save Jersey. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so we'll get to the idea of bipartisanship a little bit later, but I first want to touch base on something we were addressing with the assemblyman we had on earlier in the show, and that was, of course, this idea of the rounds the governor's making now being a little bit of a Tampa tryout, and the special session, and them denying him this idea of a win for the presumed invitation he'll get to be the keynote speaker in Tampa. And I guess we'll start, Brian, with you first. Do you think that the governor is, first of all, do you think he'll be given the keynote spot? And also, do you think he's got a point here that Democrats are using this as a bit of a political axe to grind, if you will?
Well, you know, it's hard to say whether he's going to be given the keynote spot, but the fact is that the Democrats are really jumping the gun by saying that they're denying him a win and denying him a victory lap in Tampa when he hasn't actually been offered the spot yet. I think the only win that the Democrats in the Assembly are denying are to the taxpayers of the state of New Jersey for not giving them their tax cut that Governor Christie has shown we can afford. Jay,
you think there's a little bit of political capital for them to be had here by sticking tough with him on this? I mean, obviously he loves drumming up the issue at all, whether it's, I guess he was out west, either in Idaho or something this week, and and he's got a whole another week of campaigning for Mitt Romney scheduled for next week.
Of course, yeah, it's all politics on both sides, but I don't think the revenue is there to give tax breaks to millionaires. I would love it if that were the case. It would suggest a more robust economy in New Jersey, but it's not the case. We really don't have money to give to middle-class homeowners. Then certainly I don't think that carving out money that we don't have for millionaires in the state is appropriate at this time.
You're not buying into the Jersey comeback then?
I'm not really buying into either side's posturing, to be honest. but no, there was I heard your intro. We were talking about we're 41st best in the nation.
According to CNBC, yeah.
Sure, it's certainly not. It's not the kind of statistics that you want to see attached to your home state.
You know, I think it's interesting that Jay, tries to attach tax cuts for millionaires to Governor Christie. The fact of the matter is, the millionaire's tax expired December 31st of 2009 before Governor Christie took office. The Assembly Democrats, including Lou Greenwald and people trumpeting the need for a new tax increase, were the ones who let it expire. Governor Christie has never cut taxes for millionaires, and he's never raised taxes on anyone else. So I think that's a grave mischaracterization.
But he certainly has been a staunch defender of keeping their taxes lower.
Well, I understand that politics in New Jersey is an interesting thing, but I don't think we've reached a level of insanity where not raising taxes on someone is tantamount to cutting them. He's been fervent on keeping taxes low for everyone, not just for millionaires, not just for people making $400,000 a year or $250,000 a year. It doesn't matter what you're making. In New Jersey, Chris Christie wants to give you a tax cut.
Unless you're a homeowner, in which case our property taxes continue to rise, and of course that's something that happened under Democrats as well. But we don't dine out that hard as the Republican camp does on tax cuts, and primarily for wealthier people. But to be honest, lower our property taxes. I think that's what voters and residents of New Jersey are clamoring for.
Let's stick with the politics angle here, and we'll talk a little bit about the Christie for VP buzz that, the speeches like what he gave at Brookings can seem to find a way to gin right back up again. And we went through a lot of this when he was being pushed to run for president. He gave a lot of speeches, and some folks presume that was just to keep the spotlight on him and to keep attention on him. But we see a number of things come out, like this thing that happened in Seaside Heights, and the YouTube stuff that perhaps splashes a bit of cold water as it relates to temperament. Jay, do you think that that there's any room for him still in this conversation, or do you think things like what happened in Seaside Heights have proved that he's not temperament ready for the job?
I make these predictions and I'm wrong like a lot, but I'm pretty sure that he's ruled himself out with his latest meltdown in Seaside Heights. I mean, I don't think it's diminished his profile at all, and it's certainly gotten a lot of attention. But I don't think that it's the statesman-like behavior that's going to land anybody on a presidential ticket.
Before we go, Brian, what do you think?
I mean, The blow up on the beach this past week was definitely a stark contrast to what Mitt Romney would be. They would be,
yeah, I don't think you'd see that.
They would be an interesting pair on a ticket, but I'm with Jay. I don't believe that Governor Christie is going to be the nominee. I don't think he's going to be asked. Portman is definitely a possibility. I originally, for a while, thought Marco Rubio was going to be a serious contender for the spot, but as time's gone on, I think that's changed too. I think Portman is much more likely than Rubio.
All right, guys, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that about wraps it up for us. We'd like to hear about anything we discussed in today's show from all of you. Visit our New Jersey Power and Politics Facebook page. There is the address on your screen. Go to NJ-Power-Politics. Jay loves it. He always lets us know what he's thinking. So join him there. Give us your take on all the latest political headlines. We might even discuss your responses on next week's show if they're good. That'll do it for this week. I'm Luke Margolis. Thanks for watching New Jersey Power and Politics. We'll see you next time.